These days, there's a whole lot of discussion among experts and threat analysts and senior leaders at the Pentagon about Russian-made air defenses and how they radically change the equation when it comes to the prospect of stealth aircraft operating above them. The S-300, the S-400, and the emerging S-500 are believed to have faster digital processors, to be more networked, use advanced computer processing, and of greater significance have a wider range of frequencies and be able to essentially detect more aircraft on a much wider sphere at much farther ranges. Many have gone so far as to raise the question, is stealth obsolete? Can these advanced air defenses render stealth inoperable when it comes to holding targets at risk above enemy territory? Now, the Air Force has long entertained this discussion and said, among other things, stealth is one arrow in the quiver, meaning things like drones, unmanned systems, speed, altitude, maneuverability, and advanced sensors like the B-2's emerging defensive management system, designed to locate the presence of air defenses and therefore fly around them to better execute missions. Also, when it comes to something like the B-21, you can certainly be assured there isn't a whole lot of discussion about that program, but one thing senior Air Force leaders do tell Maven, it's a new generation of stealth. Despite these concerns about how serious these air defenses are, of course the threat is taken very seriously and it does change the threat calculus. At the same time, a number of Air Force weapons developers, both current and former, are saying, hold on, not so fast. An advanced stealth aircraft is still very difficult to hit. It still brings you an advantage that in many senses is virtually unprecedented. For instance, one senior weapons developer, retired 3-star David Deptula, who's now the dean of the Mitchell Institute, talked about a study called The Imperative for Stealth. And he said in particular, there's a big difference between acquisition or recognizing a target and then being able to locate and actually destroy that target. He put it in specifics. If you have a 10-meter aperture on a wide-sphere radar to then hand off and go through the entire kill chain, and to make a strike, you'd have to go to a 6-inch band radar, which makes it much more difficult to execute a target. Also, you have advanced stealth configurations, and when it comes to something like the F-22 or the F-35, while in some sense they do have vertical structures potentially more detectable to enemy radar, they are able to use maneuverability, speed, and other kinds of dogfighting technologies to sustain themselves should it be recognized that they are there. That being said, stealth horizontal platforms like the B-2 or the emerging B-21 are designed to elude both targeting radar but also surveillance radar, so that in theory, an enemy doesn't even know they're there. While of course there aren't a whole lot of specifics when it comes to current state-of-the-art stealth technology or what might be next, there are some broad categories that do receive a lot of attention. One of them, of course, is radar signature. You have stealth coating type materials to be less detectable to enemy radar. In something like the B-2 or the emerging B-21, you have a horizontal aircraft so as not to have vertical structures, which would be more susceptible to a ping from an enemy radar system. Radar itself is working in an interesting way. It sends forward an electromagnetic ping or signal traveling at the speed of light. Algorithms, if you know how long something is traveling and you know the speed, those are known or fixed entities. You can determine the exact distance and know exactly how far away something is. Kris Osborn, Warrior Maven.